Now at 5, how a group in Barton County, Missouri is helping preserve old veteran cemeteries. Plus, we'll find out which Southwest Missouri schools are receiving grant funds to improve safety measures. And
First Republic Bank becomes the third bank to fail in the U.S. since March. I'm Nicole D'Antonio on Capitol Hill with details on what it means for consumers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Missouri group is fighting to keep and preserve old cemeteries that serve as the final resting places for veterans and elderly individuals. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Jalen Banks. Not forgotten, Barton County, Missouri Cemeteries has made it their mission to protect and maintain Missouri cemeteries, particularly those that have fallen into disrepair and neglect. The group focuses on cemeteries that are at least 50 years old, with a significant number of veterans or other notable individuals buried there.
There's some that's been bulldozed in Barton County and Crawford County. Then there's some that's people used it for animals, like pasture for like cows and different things, and the animals have just destroyed the cemetery, the headstones, and people just don't take care of them.
There are 33 abandoned cemeteries in Barton and Crawford County. Missouri Governor Mike Parson today announced grants for more than 100 Missouri schools aimed at improving safety measures. That includes security upgrades, bleeding control kits, and automatic external defibrillators. Several local schools are receiving funds. Carthage and Webb City School Districts are both receiving $400,000. East Newton and Seneca will both get $200,000. Lamar School District is getting $150,000, and just under $100,000 is going to Sircoxie. Big Elk Floating and Camping is already open for the season, but is expected to have a full schedule this summer. From a variety of kayaks, canoes, paddle boards, and tubes, there are multiple ways to float down the river. Big Elk's daily hours may open at 8 a.m., but they strive to help their customers to the fullest extent. Drew Daniels says safety is one of the most important things, from going through every canoe and kayak to checking every life jacket and paddle.
Safety is very, very important to us because it just ensures a better trip for our customers. When we're on our A game, our customers are going to be on an A+ game.
Big Elk has 17 cabins, 2 of which are newly built, and they added some new rock to the RV pads to get ready for the summer. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us.
And boy, it's a beautiful day to be floating down the Elk River in southern Missouri this afternoon and evening. Radar is all clear, and it's going to stay that way for a little bit longer, and not just in our area, but across the entire region. It has been dry as a bone. What we do have a lot of is allergies, and today it was 9.9. The same thing tomorrow. Most of that is oak, mulberry, and walnut pollens. If you're heading out this evening, it looks like a pretty nice night. Temperatures dropping through the 60s into the 50s, all the way down to the upper 30s by tomorrow morning with a low of 39. And looking down the lane, we're going to have some cool mornings ahead of us, but a terrific Tuesday in store for us, and then some thunderstorms on Thursday and Friday morning, and then a warm weekend ahead, and I'll tell you all about that when we come back in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. The stock market held steady today following the purchase of First Republic Bank by JP Chase Bank. Federal regulators helped orchestrate the sale, hoping to contain the fallout of the second biggest bank failure in U.S. history. Reporter Nicole D'Antonio is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
First Republic customers checked on their accounts in New York and San Francisco. JP Chase now runs all 84 branches of the failed bank.
I'm upset and I'm angry. They've helped us and they've been there for us a great deal.
Customers have full access to their deposits, but some depositors were disappointed to lose a trusted lender.
This bank was so wonderful. They were nothing but generous.
Regulators seized First Republic early Monday morning and then sold all of its deposits and most of its assets to JP Morgan, the nation's largest bank.
All depositors are protected.
Speaking to small business owners, President Biden said he wants to make sure this doesn't happen again and reassured Americans taxpayers will not be on the hook.
These actions are going to make sure that the banking system is safe and sound, and that includes protecting small businesses across the country who need to make payroll.
First Republic suffered a bank run in March after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. In a report released Friday, the Federal Reserve found its own supervisors failed to take forceful enough action to address growing risks at Silicon Valley Bank ahead of the collapse. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
The Fed is also grappling with stubbornly high food and energy prices and is expected to raise its benchmark interest rate from a tenth of the time to Wednesday to tamp down inflation. A massive manhunt has intensified with more than 200 members of law enforcement searching for the gunman behind Friday night's deadly mass shooting in Cleveland, Texas. Police say 38-year-old Francisco Oropesa killed 5 of his neighbors after being asked to stop firing his weapon in his front yard because a baby was trying to sleep. Authorities say the suspect is armed and considered very dangerous and could now be anywhere. More than 2 days after the attack, an $80,000 reward is being offered for his capture. Still ahead, Mother Nature impacting your wallet.
Extreme weather is damaging crops and leading to higher food prices. I'm Cristian Benavides with how this could become the new normal.
And next in Health Watch, how doctors are trying to raise awareness about the risk of skin cancer. Topping today's Health Watch, researchers at Vanderbilt University have developed profiles to determine which children and teens are at the greatest risk for self-harm. After evaluating more than 1,000 children and teens, they found boys ages 10 to 13 with ADHD, bipolar disorder, or autism spectrum disorders were very high risk. Also at high risk, females 14 to 17 with depression and anxiety, along with substance and trauma-related disorders. New research finds there's a more effective way to treat newborns who were exposed to opioids during pregnancy. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine found babies that were given the Eat, Sleep, and Console intervention, which includes swaddling and skin-to-skin contact, were ready for discharge about 6 days earlier than newborns given traditional care. With warmer months ahead, a new survey finds more than half of Americans are not concerned about developing skin cancer, even though they may have an elevated risk. Doctors are using this Melanoma Monday to raise awareness. Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
Rachel Ferris went to the dermatologist to check a rash on her stomach. She left the exam with a diagnosis she never saw coming.
I was going for a rash, didn't think that I was going to come out, being told that I had stage 1 melanoma.
The 28-year-old grew up as a competitive swimmer and visited tanning salons before meets. Without a family history of skin cancer, she never thought of that ultraviolet exposure as a risk for melanoma.
Sun exposure in tanning beds is what caused it. I just had a very low threshold for what my body could take.
Dermatologist Maral Kabirian-Skelsey says skin cancer is on the rise, with about 200,000 cases of melanoma each year. It's the deadliest form, but treatable if caught early. The American Academy of Dermatology says the best prevention is wearing sunscreen and sun protective clothing and watching for changes to your skin.
If you have a spot on your skin that has looked the same your whole life, and suddenly the edges might look different, or the color changes, if the size changes, that's an important factor. But in darker skin types, melanoma can be diagnosed often very late, and it appears in areas that are not necessarily sun exposed.
After having 8 cancerous spots removed, Ferris likes to spread the word.
Friends tell me they're going on a beach vacation. I'm like, wear your sunscreen.
An ounce of prevention that could save a life. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Studies show using tanning beds before the age of 20 can increase your chances of developing melanoma by 47%. A large new study finds acute exposure to air pollution is linked with an increased risk of having irregular heartbeat. Researchers in China also found among 6 pollutants, nitrogen dioxide had the strongest association. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, what new research shows about how climate change is leading to more home runs in pro baseball.
And the climate's been pretty much the same for several days across our area. We'll have a detailed look at the forecast when we come back. Well, folks, I'm running out of adjectives to describe the nice, beautiful weather that we've had across our area. And today was no different. Mostly sunny skies, bright blue skies with lots of warm temperatures, hardly a cloud in the sky at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, living up to its name today. as we look in Seneca, Missouri. This afternoon, 66 degrees was our high. We started out quite chilly though at 39. The normals are 73 and 51 in the records, 91 and 30. And already for the month of May, we're already 0.2 of an inch below normal. And so far for the year, we're 4 inches behind. So we desperately need some rainfall. The winds have been on the good side today. We are expecting the winds to pick up around 20 miles per hour tomorrow, especially late morning. And then as we go through the day, the winds are going to become light and variable. And then as we go into Wednesday, just around 5 miles per hour. Radar is clear. Nothing really to see on that. And if we take a little bit wider view, you can see that we are watching some moisture in the Pacific Northwest and also the deserts of the Southwest. That's part of the next storm system that is slowly going to be moving towards the east. But it's going to be taking its time because we're in a blocking pattern right now, and I'll show you more on that in just a moment. Temperatures right now are generally in the 60s and lower 70s across the area, but look at the dew points. Bone dry, dew points in the 20s and lower 30s, which is kind of unusual for this time of year in our part of the country. 66 right now, northwest wind at 18, gusting at times to 26 miles per hour, humidity low at 20%. And in Pittsburgh, it's 66 with a northwest wind at 8. Humidity also low at 22%. Temperatures tonight are going to drop once again into the 30s and 40s because all that dry air allows the temperature to really fall once the sun goes down. Then in the afternoon, the sun comes out and we heat right back up, upper 60s to lower 70s tomorrow with northwesterly winds continuing. Then as we go into Wednesday morning, lows generally in the 30s and 40s across the area. Then as we go into Wednesday afternoon, a little bit of more cloudiness. So we'll drop temperatures into the mid 70s, but still very pleasant for your afternoon. And then as we move into Thursday, notice we start to see showers and storms breaking out, especially up towards the north with lows in the 50s. Severe risk, not really a concern with this next storm system. On Wednesday, there may be a few strong storms way out to the west, but that's not really going to impact us. Rainfall amounts with this next storm system are generally going to be less than an inch. I wish this was different, but right now we're thinking about half an inch at the most, maybe a little bit more than that. And right now we're in an omega blocking pattern with this ridge of high pressure sitting over us, and that's what's preventing that storm on the west coast from getting closer to us. But on Thursday, the ridge starts to move a little bit more towards the east, and that's going to allow little pieces of energy to come up at us out of the south and west, and that's going to increase our rain chances over the next several days once we get in towards the weekend. Temperatures tomorrow, 68 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Then on Wednesday, 73. Then the storms arrive on Thursday into Friday. A little bit of a break on Saturday, but more storms on Sunday and Monday. And it looks like maybe we're going to go into a stormy period, which I don't think anyone's going to mind, especially with temperatures in the 80s, because we desperately need that rainfall. Jalen?
The amount of times that I've heard drought, I think the day that it finally is over, we need to throw a party.
I'm totally down for that. That's exactly right.
Drought is over party in the KOAM parking lot.
Let's plan for it.
All right, thank you. The 2023 Major League Baseball season is heating up, and so are the home runs. And a new study suggests part of that boost is due to climate change. Reporter Asher Martinez has the story from Yankee Stadium.
With home runs flying out of major league ballparks at record clips, there's new research that suggests climate change is helping fuel the power surge.
Warmer air is less dense, so balls will fly farther when they're hit in baseball.
Dartmouth College researcher Christopher Callahan looked at 100,000 games spanning 60 years. He's calculated warmer temperatures have helped add about 500 extra homers since 2010. And he expects those numbers to climb as global temps climb.
Several hundred more home runs per year. That could rise to as many as 10% more per year relative to what we have now.
Researchers say climate change is only one piece of the puzzle. Other factors include stadium construction, advanced player training, and analytics.
Of course, baseball fans love to see home runs no matter what. So this long ball frenzy is another good reason to come out to the ballpark.
They're definitely exciting because it's like, the biggest play in the game almost.
Not all fans recognize the homers as purely science.
I mean, not really. I think no matter, what the weather is, there's going to be a lot of home runs in the MLB.
But studying how warming temperatures may be impacting America's pastime has helped highlight the subtle impacts of climate change on everyday life. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
Researchers say MLB's vast collection of data over many decades helped make the study possible. Coming up, how extreme weather is leading to higher prices at the grocery store. Topping today's Consumer Watch, signs of more frustration from pilots just ahead of what's expected to be a busy summer travel season. The labor union representing American airline pilots has authorized a strike. The Allied Pilots Association says they could begin picketing at major airport hubs nationwide, although no timeline for when this might happen was announced. American Airlines says neither picketing nor a strike authorization vote will impact flights or its operation, and that a strike will only happen if terms for a contract cannot be reached. Investors are suing Adidas over its Yeezy deal with Kanye West. Adidas cut ties with Ye in October after the rapper made a series of anti-Semitic remarks. In their suit, filed Friday, shareholders alleged the company knew about the risk of partnering with the rapper and failed to take precautionary measures. In February, Adidas said it expects to lose $1.3 billion in sales this year to the Yeezy deal falling apart. Drought, hurricanes, and heavy rain have hurt farms around the world, and now consumers are paying for it at the grocery store. Reporter Christian Benavidez explains.
So see how easy that came off? And see how that sort of got a little decay in it there?
Earlier this year, we talked to John Barbin, a fourth-generation farmer in Florida, where storms and crop disease have led to a shortage of oranges.
The trees have started dropping fruit prematurely, and the quality of the juice is starting to decline.
That is pushing prices for orange juice higher. In India, rain hurt sugarcane crops, sending sugar futures soaring. Floods earlier this year in California's Salad Bowl devastated all kinds of crops, from lettuce to strawberries, and now produce costs more.
Is this sort of the new normal with these climate events that are happening worldwide?
Sadly, yes. So I think this is the unfortunate, harsh reality of today's world.
Professor Patrick Penfield is a supply chain expert at Syracuse University. He says crop issues in the Midwest led to higher feed costs for ranchers, and many are now raising fewer cattle.
Now you're going to start seeing, meat supply come down.
However, extreme weather may have provided one benefit. All that rain in California that damaged crops also helped fill the state's reservoirs, running low after years of drought.
And now the farmers in the next planting season will be able to tap that water.
And that should help bring produce prices back down later this year. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Starting today, a little-known mortgage surcharge is getting an overhaul that could lower costs for borrowers with lower credit scores and increase them for some borrowers with strong credit scores. The new fee change will only affect some home buyers with mortgages backed by Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae and won't impact those who already own their home. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a look at how human-made chemicals are contaminating freshwater fish in America. Then on KOAM News at 6, why federal authorities say 2 hospitals that denied a Joplin woman an emergency abortion broke the law. Plus, Mercy announces 2 new acquisitions to expand its reach in Pittsburgh. And a new look for the city of Joplin's wayfinding signs. We'll take a look. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. All right, Sam, you talked about eventually having some rain on the horizon, the drought. What else do you have for us?
Yeah, the drought's going to continue for another few days at least, but nice weather. We can't really complain all that much. And then on Thursday, storms roll in, mainly Thursday night into Friday morning, then maybe a little bit of break on Saturday, but then more storms maybe on Sunday, better chance on Monday, and we keep the storminess going for a little bit. So hopefully with all those storm activity, we'll get some rain in the rainfall bucket, as we are desperately needing some to wet the ground and to help out the ranchers and farmers out there.
I was just about to say that. I know they are crossing their fingers watching this. Please, please, please rain down on us. All right, thank you, Sam. Thank you for joining us. Your CBS Evening News is next, and then, of course, we'll be right back here at 6 for the KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.